channel. Today I am testing out yet another foundation. As you guys know, this has been the month that all of these brands just decided to release a crazy amount of foundations. I don't mind because I love testing out foundations. That is probably my favorite thing to test out. I don't mind doing the eyeshadow reviews and concealer reviews and stuff like that, but foundation is something that I'm very passionate about, and so, you know, it's something that I love, and so I am never mad at testing out a bunch of foundations. Today we're talking about the Flex foundation stick from Milk, and I was trying to think back of how many products that I've tried from the Milk brand, and I think the only thing I've ever tried is the Milk Kush mascara, and it was a deluxe size sample that I got from Sephora. So I don't know that I've actually ever purchased anything from the Milk brand, and I don't know why. It's just not something that has really caught my eye. So this one I was excited about. Many of you guys have requested for this foundation, so I went ahead and picked it up. I'm going to give you guys the full rundown on it. Now, as you guys know, because I am trying to get as many foundation reviews out as I possibly can, normally I like to wear my foundations for 3 to 4 days, but today and for the next week, I'm only going to be able to test them out for 2 days. So before I get into the information about the foundation, I'll give you guys a little bit of information about what I am and what I look for in a foundation in case you're new to my channel. I am dry normal skin. I just turned 40. I have hyperpigmentation, adult acne. I like more of a natural, luminous type of a foundation. I don't want to look like I'm wearing foundation. I don't like it to be cakey and heavy. So I normally stay away from matte foundations because they can like exaggerate my wrinkles, exaggerate my texture, and normally I like just a natural looking finish that is a medium decent coverage to cover up the hyperpigmentation and still allow my skin to look like skin. So just so that you know what I look for and what I like while I'm reviewing a foundation. So this foundation retails for $36. It comes in 36 different shades and it has 0.35 ounces. It's a medium coverage natural finish foundation that covers, calms, and flexes without creasing or caking, which I kind of like that whole flexing because it does allow you to laugh. I laugh a lot. Like, I am always talking and I'm always laughing. This is for normal, dry, combo, and oily skin. And it has a marshmallow root extract. That is the ingredient that allows the formula to move with your face and never crease. It has blue lotus, which also moisturizes the skin. And it has chamomile and lavender, which help calm and smooth the skin. And I chose the shade Golden Sand, which Golden Sand is described as a medium with a warm olive undertone. I just got done reviewing this Fenty Beauty, the hydrating one. And the thing that I loved most about this is Fenty's shade range. So 290 is my perfect winter shade and 300 is my perfect summer shade. And it's because they were able to create the perfect amount of olive undertone with a warmth undertone as well. And a lot of the brands kind of get it wrong. They either put too much green in with the olive or they put way too much yellow in, and it's just not, it doesn't work. They got the olive undertone right in this one. So I will leave a full list of foundations that I wear and what shades I wear in those foundations in the description box down below in case you think that you might be close to my skin tone. Now this little top pulls off and here is the foundation, and you know, I've used it twice now, so let me roll it all the way up so you guys can see what this looks like. There is the top. The thing that I will say, this one is tough to blend out, as you'll notice in the application. So on one side of the face I used a brush, and on the other side of the face I used a sponge. When you use a sponge, even though I think it blends the best with a sponge, the problem with using a sponge with this one is that it takes a lot longer for it to blend out. You do have to just keep kind of working with it to really get it to blend. So that's all the information about the foundation, about me and what I like. We're gonna jump straight into the application portion of the video, and I'm gonna come back and do a 6-hour check-in, and then I will come back after wearing it 2 days, 12 hours or longer on both days, and give you guys my full final thoughts, check in so you guys can see what it looks like 12 hours later, and give you guys my final thoughts. So I will see you guys then. Okay, so let's get playing with this new foundation. I was up late, you guys. I think I went to sleep around 4:30 last night. I was editing the 2 videos that went up on Monday, and oh, I'm exhausted. My bags under my eyes are horrible. I'm gonna need some extra something under there because they look bad. So I've already applied my primer. So as usual, I'm gonna apply one side with a brush and one side with a sponge just to see maybe the difference between the two. So I'm just gonna put a few stripes here. Let's try that first. I don't wanna go in too heavy with it. So let's go ahead and blend that out. Wow, this looks good. I hardly have any brush strokes. It blends out really nice. It's creamy, but it kind of dries down. It dries down pretty quick. That's pretty decent coverage too. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put some here on this side of my face. And I'm just gonna kind of start blending this out with a sponge. Takes a minute to get it to blend out because it is a thicker formula. It's not like overly creamy, and so it takes a minute to get it to blend, but eventually it really blends out nice. I'm gonna need another stripe up here for my coverage. Even layer I would say is probably between a light and a light medium coverage. Actually, I think I like the sponge side better. It seems like the sponge kind of helps to really melt it into the skin and make it a little bit more even. Like the brush, I feel like it can get a tad bit heavy in certain areas, but with the sponge, I don't get that at all. This is a really pretty foundation. I haven't watched any reviews on this foundation, so I don't know how everybody feels about it, if it's something that everybody is liking, but this looks really good. Okay, so this is what the brush side is looking like. This looks good. Like, this looks really natural and healthy. It has set down, so I don't feel like it's moving anywhere. I don't feel like it's gonna go anywhere, but I still have a radiance to my skin. So it doesn't have a powdery finish. It's a very natural finish. It's not a matte finish, and it's not a like glowy, it's not like a dewy finish. It's just perfect finish where it still allows your skin to have a little bit of radiance. If I took this white piece of cloth and went over my head, I'm not getting any transfer. I'm gonna try to get rid of some of this heaviness right here, where it's kind of, there we go. See how the sponge just really will blend that out? It just really moves the foundation and just melts it into the skin. I like this. I just need some concealer because those dark circles, because I think I've had about 4 hours of sleep, maybe 4.5. So, you know, it's one of those days, but this looks really pretty though. All right, let's turn off the ring light. This is what we're looking like in more natural lighting. I just have the two umbrellas sitting in the corner, and I'm sitting in front of a window, but it's not direct sunlight, and this looks really good. It is currently 9:30 in the morning, so I'm gonna plan on wearing this all day like I normally do, definitely over a 12-hour period. I don't know why all of a sudden my camera just made me look like an Oompa Loompa. I have no idea. Anyway, ignore the camera. Maybe it's not coming across that way, but it definitely is in the monitor. But I will come back and do a check-in at my 6-hour mark, and then I will come back after wearing it for the full 2 days and give you guys my final thoughts. So I will see you guys then. Okay everyone, I am back for a midday check-in on this. I wasn't able to get down here and do a midday check-in yesterday, so I'm gonna do it today. So this is day 2 since I have tried this. So I kind of know how it wears. I kind of got a good idea from yesterday. So it is currently 3:41. I applied this right around 9:30 this morning. So it's been on for just over 6 hours, and I like the way this looks. It's a very natural foundation, and I think that's the thing that I really love about it. Not only is this shade match just, oh, so perfect, but it does look really, really good. It looks really skin-like, and I love the way it looks. Now, full disclosure, yesterday I didn't wear any powders on it. I wanted to see what it looked like with powder versus no powder. This is one that's a tad bit too hydrating, to the point where, you know, I kind of want to just blur this out just a tiny bit. So I did put a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury right here in this T-zone area just to kind of smooth it out. But, you know, there are some foundations that you don't have to do that with, but this is one of them that is a little bit more hydrating. And because I just got done wearing the Fenty Beauty, I'm going to tell you guys, these are very, very similar in the way that they apply. I would say, in my opinion, so far what I'm seeing, this Milk foundation is everything that this wasn't. So it has everything that this was that's amazing, like the very natural, the shade match is perfect, the undertones are perfect, the way that it looks very natural, healthy, all of that. Kind of has a radiant glow to it, as you can see. But the difference is this one isn't cakey like this one was. So this is a type of formula. Don't get me wrong, I liked this foundation, but there was the one thing that kept me from loving it was it's a tad bit too thick, just a tad. And when you have a foundation that is a little bit too thick, you have to be very careful with applying too much. This one I don't have that problem with. This one just kind of glides onto the skin, and you have great coverage. I mean, I have really good coverage. You can barely see my hyperpigmentation. So this is my dark spot right here on my cheek that's very stubborn. And as you know, I have a lot of hyperpigmentation spots right here. This has great coverage. So it's almost like this one, in my opinion, is just more skin-like so far than the Fenty. Now, we're gonna see later on this evening how long it lasts, because this one, it broke down. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wore off like a normal foundation does, but I'm curious to see if this one lasts longer or stays together more than this one does. So we'll just see how it goes later on this evening. So far, I think it's very beautiful. I think it's very healthy, natural, blends, just kind of melts into the skin, even though it's stubborn to blend with a sponge. Once you get it blended, it's beautiful. It's not heavy in the wrinkle area, which is what I was having issues with this one. This one was just a tad bit too heavy. Just, you guys, just a tad. It wasn't like it was cakey, but it was on that road of being cakey. You know, it was on the road. And so this one isn't. It's extremely lightweight. You don't really feel like you have any foundation on. It becomes a tiny bit tacky as your oils start to come throughout the day, but it's a beautiful foundation. So far, I'm really liking the way this looks. It's 6 hours in, and as you can see, it just looks really good. It's not cakey in any of these areas. It doesn't exaggerate any of my creepy skin. I think it looks really good, you guys. I'm really impressed with the way that this looks. I mean, everywhere I look, I keep wanting to find like a spot that looks bad, and I just can't really find a spot. Like, it looks good. I am really impressed with this so far. I mean, it doesn't look heavy, it doesn't look cakey. I think the only thing I would say that's negative about this foundation is because it's stubborn to blend out, if you don't take your time to really make sure it's blended, you might have a little bit of areas that kind of build up in certain areas. But other than that, I'm liking this. Now, I don't know that I'm so sure somebody with combo and oily skin would love this. I do kind of have a feeling that this is definitely geared towards dry, normal skin. I just don't know if this is it, you guys. I just don't know if somebody with combo or oily skin is gonna like this. So as you can see, this is kind of my troubled area, my wrinkles, and it looks good. It's not cakey. I mean, it doesn't build up in those wrinkles area, which is so good. All right, let's shut off the ring light. So now I'm just sitting in front of a window. It's not direct sunlight. I have two umbrella lights sitting in the corner and just the room light above me. And as you can see, there are some spots that maybe I missed on the blending. And I think, like I said, that isn't really the foundation breaking down. I think I just have some spots here that maybe I didn't blend it as good when I was applying it. That is definitely the negative about this one, because it's not as creamy as it could be. But I think the other side of that is, because it's not creamy, it is able to set down and not be kind of moving all over the place. So I think personally, I think that's the only drawback with the foundation, is that you really do have to be mindful when you're blending it out to make sure that you get a nice even blend. That's it for this 6-hour check-in. I will see you guys in my final thoughts. Okay everyone, I am back for my final thoughts on this foundation after wearing it 2 days and 12 hours or longer each day. So it is currently 9:30, so it's technically been on for 12 hours exactly. As you heard in my 6-hour check-in, I really like the foundation. I think it's just kind of like a lightweight, everyday type of foundation. I wouldn't say that this is completely different from anything else on the market, but there are some things that are good and bad about it. My dark circles are coming out to play. I feel like it's similar to a lot of foundations that we've had on the market lately. It seems like brands are really starting to understand that there is a market for a natural, radiant type of foundation. And that's exactly what this is. It's not extremely long wearing, but the nice thing about it is, as it starts to wear down, it doesn't get super patchy. It fades pretty nice. Now, that's me being dry normal. If you're combo and oily, I kind of have a feeling that this might be patchy as it starts to break down on the skin, so just be mindful of that. I used my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder. When I got done doing my makeup, I just put an even layer just right here in my T-zone. And the thing about this foundation is it is very dewy, and it seems like, for me personally, I don't really feel like somebody with a combo or oily skin is going to love this. You're just going to be really, really dewy at the end of the day. And I don't know that this is a foundation that a powder could really help that. To me, it wears really nice. It's a long wearing foundation, but it wears off very naturally. I feel like this is designed for somebody who has dry, normal skin. It lays beautifully over wrinkles. Based on wearing it the last 2 days, I think that's what I like about it the most, is the way that it lays over my wrinkles. If you have enlarged pores, I don't really feel like this is a good one for you, just because it's so dewy and kind of radiant that it might emphasize that. Okay, so again, this is 12 hours in, and as you can see, I really haven't lost much coverage around here. This is where my foundation goes. This is not a foundation that creases. I mean, it looks pretty good on over the wrinkles. You can see I kind of got some buildup here around my nose area. But again, that's kind of all normal for me when it comes to 12 hours later. But this looks really good, you guys. Like, I'm not, like I said, I don't feel like this is for everybody, but I do think this is a pretty foundation. All right, let's turn off the ring light. Foundation reminds me somewhat of the Traceless foundation from Tom Ford, and I might do a comparison, like wear the Tom Ford on one side and the Milk on the other. If you guys are interested in seeing that video, I'm gonna leave a poll up here in the iCards. If you wouldn't mind voting for me to let me know if you guys would want me to do a comparison on these two, because I do feel like they're very, very similar. So that's it for my final thoughts on the foundation. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I love you all so, so, so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Love you. Bye.